People were excited about the ROX Tigers, this fast, jovial group that came to challenge the Titans and had a good shot at doing it.
Welcome to the 2016 League of Legends World Championship semifinal.
You have to be innovative.
This is an insta-locked misfortune.
The teleport was the last moment that SKT had to try and get back and defend. This is probably one of the best series of all time.
Imagine telling a League of Legends fan at the beginning of last decade that the two greatest teams in the world would face off at a sold-out Madison Square Garden with a chance to secure a world title on the line. That's exactly what happened on October 21st, 2016, when the ROX Tigers and SK Telecom T1 went head-to-head in what's still being called the greatest match ever played. Even the circumstances that led up to this match being played are incredible on their own. When the 2016 group stage came to a close and the bracket was revealed, the most stunning conclusion was that SKT and ROX Tigers had been placed on the same side of the bracket. The previous year, these two franchises faced off in the grand finals. So to see them lined up for a potential semifinal match was intriguing on its own. And since that point, the rosters hadn't changed all that much. Each team only made one significant change in between their meetings at Worlds. While SKT made a switch in the top lane, replacing Marin with Duke, ROX added up-and-coming jungler Peanut into the mix. In that 2015 match, SKT mid laner Faker carried the franchise to its second championship in 3 years, with a ridiculous scoreline of 23 kills, 7 deaths, and 29 assists. This time around, all eyes would be on him as he looked to carry SKT to another finals appearance. New York's Madison Square Garden had been tapped as the semifinal venue, forcing the stars to align even further. The prospect of SKT and ROX facing off at the world's most famous arena added even more fuel to the hype fire. The two teams hadn't faced each other since the LCK Summer Split, where SKT held a 2-0 advantage over ROX, but coming into the series, everyone knew that these two squads were at the top of their games. Whoever won this series was a lock to win Worlds. ROX jumped out to an early lead in Game 1 with a few timely picks, but SKT's 10k gold lead was too much to overcome.
And the fight continues. Bengi throws the undertow, but he's running for dear life. Smith with immaculate.
After SKT forced a fight at Elder Drake, they ended up taking the game decisively, forcing the ROX Tigers into an 0-1 hole.
Bengi is clutch with the smite in the jungle, and that's most likely the game for SKT.
Yeah, ROX get lured into the trap. They tunnel so hard into the objective that they forget that they're running into an Orianna treble comp. Once near the pillar, it was the perfect ultimate from Faker, and that's it for SKT. They get the kill, they get the objective, and they run down the mid lane.
And poor Smeb can't do anything. The recall is stopped. SK Telecom T1 are a third of the way there as they take game 1 over ROX Tigers, looking to make it to the finals.
Game 2 was when the gloves really came off though. Right from the start, Gorilla, ROX's support, picked an extremely unconventional misfortune. Combined with Prey's Ashe, the lane was devastating. Not only did the duo win the laning phase convincingly, but the momentum that they built early on in Game 2 came to a head at the 32-minute mark when Prey made one of the most legendary plays in League of Legends history with a cross-map Ashe arrow to delay the teleport of SKT's top laner, Duke. When the greatest plays in the history of League of Legends are stacked up against each other, it's hard to not view Prey's momentous arrow as the greatest moment in all of competitive play. The probability of the arrow landing was so incredibly low, and the margin of error for a risk like that was immensely slim. If Prey missed that arrow, even by an inch, ROX's entire push could have been thwarted, and the late game could have potentially swung back in the favor of SKT. Regardless, ROX was able to win in just 33 minutes on the heels of an impeccable performance from their bottom lane. A performance that would go on to change the way picks and bans were approached throughout the entirety of the series. After ROX used that momentum to win Game 3 with a similar team comp, SKT was on the ropes.
Gets a bunch of damage, flashing aggressively when he knows. Look, he's gonna track, by the way, the parallel convergence in the next phase of his play. He moves out, moves in when the Lee Sin is about to spawn to give it an option, sees parallel convergence, sidesteps out of it, goes for Faker, and then turns towards Duke. This is well played.
And then Duke and Faker, you have to threaten the higher threat target, which is going to be Prey. I think it's a
Rocks Tigers looking to push more.
and their ultimates will be coming up shortly. Arrow again.
Blank did not have his ulti available, but it was short enough that the stun wore off no matter what. Last Nexus turret is down, looking to make it 2-1 in the series. Rocks going for the play. Another kill comes through for Peanut. There's the...
Down 2-1, it was time for the defending champions to make some major adjustments. SKT finally banned Misfortune, forcing Gorilla onto Zyra, a champion he had played on the professional stage just 3 times. On top of the adjustments SKT made in picks and bans, the team also subbed in veteran jungler Bengi in place of Blank. Bengi had been in the SKT lineup when the team captured victory in Game 1, but now, facing elimination, the stakes were even higher. To make things even more intense, SKT was in a unique situation in Champion Select. Nidalee, the universally recognized best champion in the game, had been left wide open for SKT. The only problem? The recently subbed in Bengi had never played the character before. If SKT picked Nidalee, they would run the risk of putting Bengi on a champion he had almost no professional experience with. The team could have opted to place Bengi on a champion he was more comfortable with, like Lee Sin or Olaf, giving Nidalee over to Peanut and the Rocks Tigers in the process. During the 2016 season, Peanut posted a perfect 12-0 record with a 10.8 KDA on Nidalee, so if the champion were to land in the Tigers' hands, it would have resulted in a certain loss for SKT. With that in mind, SKT rolled the dice and placed Bengi on Nidalee for the first time in his career. The gamble paid off. Bengi posted a scoreline of 6-2-7 in Game 4 while accounting for nearly 25% of SKT's total damage. Beyond Bengi's performance, the SKT bottom lane stepped up to the plate and completely dominated the Rocks Tigers. Bang and Wolf combined for a scoreline of 9-1-19 in Game 4, a bounce-back performance good enough to send the series to a decisive Game 5.
Too much damage, looking for Faker, getting shot up and blown up. Now it's Meb on the backside, but he can't find much to do.
In Game 5, all of the pressure shifted to Rocks Tigers. Not only did it look like their draft strategy had been figured out, but the team looked deflated as well. After letting a chance to close out the series slip through their fingers, Rocks were on their heels. Suddenly, with one quick win, the momentum shifted entirely towards SKT. In that final game, SKT stuck with their veteran jungler. Bengi played extremely well on his trademark Lee Sin, closing out the series with 2 game-ending picks on Prey and Peanut during SKT's final push. Over the course of the final game, Bengi and SKT absolutely dominated the map, taking 3 Barons, 5 Dragons, and eventually winning by nearly 18,000 gold. After a near 6-hour marathon series, SKT had finally punched their ticket to the World Finals, which they eventually won for the franchise's 3rd title in 4 years. To this day, this series is the greatest best of 5 ever played in League of Legends history. When you look at the greatest teams ever to play at the World Championship, you could easily make the case that the 2016 iterations of Rocks and SKT were 2 of the best to ever make a run for the Summoners Cup. Rarely do you get 2 of the best teams in history to exist at the same time. It's even rarer that you see them face off on the biggest stage in the world. Beyond that though, the series served as a significant turning point for both franchises, as well as the professional scene as a whole. After the 2016 World Championship, all 5 members of the Rocks Tigers went their separate ways. The entire roster disbanded, and the franchise eventually collapsed a few years later. A few months after losing to SKT at Worlds, Peanut would go on to replace Bengi as SKT's jungler. The storied veteran and semi-final hero had gone out on top. At Worlds 2016, the legendary clash between SK Telecom T1 and the Rocks Tigers served as not only the apex of the tournament, but a benchmark moment in League of Legends history. This series helped to legitimize League of Legends as an esport in a much broader sense than ever before. To see the biggest league tournament of the year played under the bright lights of Madison Square Garden was something that had never happened before, and the world was taking notice. With each champion kill, each objective taken, and each game that passed by, League was taking major steps to becoming a recognized mainstream force. More and more eyes were turning their attention to the professional League of Legends scene. While SKT and Rocks managed to deliver the greatest match of all time, the consequences of that fateful night in New York extended far beyond what happened on the Rift. The fact that the match happened to be an absolute classic was simply a bonus.